Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my November TBR, and this has about the same amount of books that I had in October, so let's pray that I get through this. Let's just cut to the chase and get into the video. So this book has been in my TBR for like months, and I do plan on finishing it very soon, and I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with it. But that is Classic Tales of Mythology and Heroes by Edith Hamilton. I am like halfway through. And if I just sit my butt down and read it, I will be done in probably a day. So I think I just need to like drive my butt to a bookstore and read for a while. But essentially it just kind of compiles a bunch of stories, a little bit of Greek, a lot of Greek, but some Norse mythology as well, of like heroes that we know and love. And I think I'm having a big issue trying to read this book because I'm a huge Greek mythology slut. If you guys just don't know that about me, where have you been? Because I do have Greek mythology videos out there. My Pinterest board is covered in Greek mythology. I just can talk to you for days about Greek mythology. But I think it's just because I have like researched a bunch of these stories that I'm reading, and I'm seeing a lot of inaccuracies with how certain characters are depicted and like their sexualities and how their certain stories have ended. And it's just not a big fan to me, I don't think. And I have been going through Goodreads trying to find not better, because she was classic and good in her own time, but more updated kind of descriptions of these classic mythologies that I grew up with, and those have been sounding appealing, so I haven't been feeling it, which is really unfortunate because I loved this when I was younger. And then the internet came into my life and taught me all the things that I just needed to know. So, hopefully I'll have this finished soon. The next book on this list is one that, actually I have quite a few books, or like a handful of books on this list, and one of them was supposed to be The Prince and the Dressmaker, which I ended up involving in my October TBR. But I am writing a novel, and this novel, I'm redrafting it. But this novel does have a few characters on the trans spectrum, and I do love my research. I have done plenty of research on how to write trans and non-binary characters, which are the characters that I am including in the story. But I do like reading as to how, like reading in fiction, how people who aren't in that spectrum would write these characters. So I've been kind of taking my time and like doing research on him. I've had people that give me advice. I will leave my writing vlog where I talk all about it below. But I also just really, like I said, I want to read fiction about it. So I went on Goodreads and searched for high rated fiction on it, and there's not a lot, especially in high fantasy, which is really upsetting. So I chose some books that were highly recommended. The Prince and the Dressmaker were one of them. And then I have two other books in here that work with that and what I'm already reading. But the first book that is on this TBR, and that is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. Now I don't know too much about this book, not gonna lie. I've heard the title get thrown around everywhere, but I don't know exactly the synopsis. All I know is it follows best friends Meal and Sam, and there's a lot of magical realism. Roses grow from Meal's wrist. Sam is known for the moons he paints and hangs in trees. So it sounds really interesting, and it does sound a little fantastical. So I'm excited to pick this up as soon as possible. The next book on my list for November is one that has been on like a bunch of TBRs for a while. And I don't know a ton about it. I just know that it's very important to read. It's written with some letters thrown in here. And that is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. Like I said, I don't know a ton about this book. I know that people have given it really good reviews, its own voices. It just involves a student writing letters to Martin Luther King Jr. So I will pick this up soon and enjoy it like the rest. The next book that is on this list that I finished yesterday, I really need to stop blasting through books in a day. It's a bad habit that I'm getting into, but I'm okay with that. But that is Always and Forever Laura Jean, which is the thrilling conclusion to the trilogy To All the Boys I Loved Before. Why was that such a struggle? But if you guys haven't heard, the To All the Boys I Loved Before stars Laura Jean, who writes a letter to a boy that she's loved, kind of for closure. And she writes one to her sister's boyfriend, and those letters get out. So this following series kind of deals with the aftermath of that, and this one specifically deals with her senior year. So I will talk more about this in my wrap up and in Goodreads. But I'll also be doing a series review over the entire trilogy once my sister is done reading through them this month, hopefully soon. Well, actually, it's sometime this month. So if you want that quicker than sooner, like now more than later, leave that down below. So I just know to prioritize that one more. The next book that I read is one that I have been procrastinating on because the last book of the series just came out. But I also need to get back into more high fantasy because Therese has only been reading urban fantasy and magical realism and contemporary recently. And that is a shame because I really adore my high fantasy. But that is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and this is a big one. But this is the 4th book to the Throne of Glass series, and it follows Selena Sardothian as she does as an assassin and is released from the slave camps of Endovier. And let me tell you, that is as far as I will get. Actually, no, released from the slave camps of Endovier to battle in the Champions Battle. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can't go any farther because if I do, I will end up spoiling everything because the second book throws you in for a loop. So really all the best I can tell you is read the first book. If you don't like the first book, I understand. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first book. Read the second book because the second book turns you on its head and then it ruins you. And it's just something you really need to read. The next book on this list is one that just came out, I believe, last month. So I'm excited to get into it this month. And that is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. And if those words, like those authors in the same like chunk of a book together, don't terrify you more than like any kind of scary movie, I don't know what will. But this essentially follows a meet cute where these two boys, Arthur and Ben, meet at a post office. And kind of like, well, they just keep missing each other essentially. So I am excited but terrified because Becky Albertalli's books thus far, I've read Simon vs. Homo Sapiens Agenda and I cried, and I've read Adam Silvera's Your History Is All You Left Me and I also cried. So to mush in those two together, I will not survive. And the last book in this list is one that I have already started, and that is Beast by Bree Spangler. Spangler. This follows Dylan, who is kind of not your average 15-year-old. He is very hairy, very tall, very muscular, and he doesn't fit in. But after an incident where he falls off a roof and breaks both of his legs after his school has announced that he can no longer wear hats, he ends up in a self-harm group where he meets Jamie. And somehow he falls head over heels for Jamie, not realizing that she was trans, after like blocking him out essentially, like blocking out the self-help group. And he finds himself kind of stuck in the situation of not only questioning his own sexuality but also trying to figure out his feelings for Jamie. Now I am about 7 pages into this book. 90, just kidding. And I really don't know how to feel about it, so I will go ahead and just leave it at that, and I'll probably do some kind of review on it. Oh, and my last book for November is Blue Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 3rd book to the Raven Cycle series, and it follows Blue, Sargent, Ronan Lynch, Richard Gansey, Adam Parrish, and Noah Sherney as they kind of search for a sleeping Welsh king on the ley lines of Virginia. And on top of that, Blue has also been told that if she kisses the true love of her life, he will die. So lots of angst going on. I'm a good chunk of it into the audiobook, but I am struggling. I don't know why. I think I'm just a little not drawn out. I'm just getting a little tuckered out for Maggie Stiefvater at the moment because I have back-to-back her past 3 books in the past 2 months. Hopefully I like it. It's also a reread, so I'm sure I will like it. But that is it for my November TBR. If any of these books you would like to see a book of the week on, where I kind of chat about my feelings of the book while I'm in the middle of everything, leave those down below. If you want to see a tea talk on any of them, also leave that down below. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a series review on the trilogy To All the Boys I Loved Before. So you'll be seeing my thoughts on those soon. But if you have any of these books that you want me to prioritize so I can do a TikTok review for, or you want to see my Goodreads review, something or other. You want me to do like a character chat or whatever you want me to do, leave them down below because I would really love to hear your thoughts, and that way I can prioritize the next book that I read and have more content out there for you guys. But until then, all my social media links will be down below. I do try to frequently update Goodreads and my Instagram and all the fun stuff, but it should be all at Bookish Therese. But if not, again, down below. I upload every Saturday and Wednesday in case you want to see more of my face, which, I mean, why not? And then, until then, I'll see you on Saturday with a new video. Bye now.